It's a beautiful day, let's call into work and we'll go out and play, sweet darling. 'Cause I've got nothing but time on my hands. I just wanna spend a little time with my man, sweet darling. You grab the rocks and I'll get the bait. We'll do a little fishing, let's make it a day with the blue skies above and the sun on our skin. Oh, sweet darling, let's go fishing.
Okay, my name is Piotr Parasiewicz and I am Ecohydraulician. I am working in this capacity since almost 25 years. I work currently in Poland at the Inland Fisheries Institute in Poland. That's a federal institute working on fisheries. And I work on rivers since this time. My specialty is river fish habitats, fish and not only fish habitats, creating computer models of river. And one day I'd like to be a participant in the computer model of a river that is habitat driven.
Mm-hmm. So how were you first introduced to the idea of ecohydraulics? How did you get into it?
By chance, like most of us. It was during my studies, and I wanted to do my master thesis working on fish, because I always liked fish. I liked fishing. I worked with fish. I was very interested in it. And I went to the Department of Hydrobiology, and I asked for a master's, and first I wanted to work on fish, and then my professor said, well, you know, you are studying engineering, maybe you could participate on this analysis of river restoration study when we do monitoring and do some river morphology. I said, okay, I'll try. And then we went to this river Melk in Austria. This was in Austria. Then we unloaded our cart, which was full of total station, all kind of tools, and started to measure cross section. And when I started to do it, I said, oh my God, what a boring thesis I got. This was the beginning. And a few years later, when I started to work with this data and I started to process this data, it became very interesting, and I discovered that there is so much to do to develop it, and then you can change so much. And when I learned about the habitat modeling, then everything started to be very, very exciting. So that's how it started. Like most of us, when I was starting, not many people knew that something like ecohydraulics exists.
What's an example of a hydraulics research article that you read that influenced your research? For good or for bad, I mean, whatever, but it was a strong influence for you.
Yeah, there is one, and it is pretty recent. It's by John Nestler and several other colleagues that was published 2010, and it's called Reference Condition Approach to Restoration Planning. It was published in River Research and Application. And this paper is it was very useful because it sort of summarizes and synthesizes a lot of ideas that we had about how to create the reference, but even better, it gives us a framework in which we can compare various scenarios with the references in the Euclidean space. So and I'm most impressed with the diagram that they brought up when they said, okay, here is the reference state, here is a current state, and then somewhere here you can get all the alternatives that you can calculate for yourself. So this is very, very useful, I think, for us, and it will be some very useful tool in the future whenever you try to do the restoration and need to pick up between multiple alternatives, and you use variety of criteria that tells you, okay, this one is better than the other one. That's really good paper. There is another one published almost the same year, River Machine by Nestler, which is also very good. But this one, this part of this reference paper is the one that was mostly influential. It influenced me to actually take this idea and write another paper with it. on river alternative restoration, river restoration alternative analysis.
Mm-hmm. And what's an ecohydraulics project you're working on right now?
It is a very exciting project, and it didn't look like an ecohydraulic project, but it becomes ecohydraulic project. It's a project that is funded by European Union in the Horizon 2020 program with about 20 participants. It's called AMBER. It is about barriers. It's about influences on barriers on European rivers. So and the influences on fish. And in this project, it has a multiple parts that are very interesting and exciting, but including a very strong social component and PR component and economical component. But the part that I'm mostly excited with is that we are analyzing influence of the barriers on habitat upstream and downstream. So not only how it impacts the migration, but how it impacts how it modifies the habitat up and downstream. So when you provide a passage, if you know that you send a fish where they can have some habitat or not have some habitat. And within this project, one of our tasks is to develop tools that will allow for rapid assessment of this of the habitat distribution. We are playing a lot with drones, so flying above rivers and making these amazing pictures that are really breathtaking and nice to explain what is that we are doing and what we are all about. We are incorporating it. It is very good a complementary tool to Mesohapsim that gives us the possibility of playing with restoration and then simulate variety of scenarios, including dam removals or beating passage. So it allows us to combine it, being a part or one important building block of a larger process, where you look at the entire ecosystem and human impact of ecosystems, and at the same time playing with tools like eDNA and putting it all together. So and it gives us really, what is great about this project for myself, that finally I have a time to play with toys, to play with science and develop ideas and think about ideas and develop them. You know, that's very, very, very exciting.
Looking to the future, what is one ecohydraulics topic that you think future generations will be better positioned to answer than we can do right now?
I believe that this is upscaling issue. So issue of combining the biological response at the scale of the animals and tying it up into the management scales and finding and upscaling in the multiple facets, not only in the facet of the physical scale. So not only on the map, getting from micro to macro, it is also getting from individuals to community analysis, to ecosystem analysis, this sort of upscaling. Bring it into management in the way, finding the tools that allow us to make the data collection faster, then that we will be able to extrapolate the information that we gather at the small and on multiple rivers into entire regions. This will be, I believe that this is necessary, and it is necessary that especially that there are tools available and we should get use of them to be able to build those models quickly. And another challenge is, this will help us in the challenge of providing this information to the public in a better understandable way and making sure that they understand how important the ecohydraulics is for life in the rivers. It is not only about a pollution, it is about everything that we need to take into account, everything else. So that's what I would call that. This is where we need to go.
And is there anything else you wish to add for people?
Yes, I believe, and I think that this is the best possible profession you can have right now. It combines a lot of things. It combines the work with the nature, the work outdoors with a very sophisticated science, very challenging science. And it is something that we are doing to protect our planet. So there is a sense of a mission. So I wish that there will be, and I hope that there will be a lot of young people following in our footsteps, and that because we are on the verge of a completely new paradigm of engineering. It is a paradigm of engineering, the soft engineering, that rather than fights the nature, learns about the functions, forms, and processes, and uses them to our advantage. This allows us to use the ecosystems, to use the resources, but in such a way that they will be not destroyed. So we will be more the gardeners than the conquerors of our planet. And I think we are right at the cutting edge of science, because this is what we are doing.